Welcome back to Full Court Press. Thank you for checking out today's video of Obi Toppin shows why Knick fans should be excited in his debut. If you have not already, go subscribe, hit the notification bell to keep up with our latest videos. So Friday night, the Knicks had their first preseason game of this new season, and it was an opportunity for their first round pick, Obi Toppin, to begin his pro career. And looking back to the draft a few weeks ago, which is crazy, it wasn't a long time ago, Obi was obviously drafted 8th overall, and some fans felt the Knicks should have taken Tyrese Halliburton. Obviously, Leon Rose and the crew decided to go with Obi, an older but proven player in college who won a ton of college awards and was projected to be an able scorer in the NBA, and is definitely expected to be able to hopefully contribute right away. So Toppin is from Brooklyn. He's obviously a local, and the opportunity to go back home definitely overwhelmed him when he was drafted on draft night. And Knick fans have to honestly love that they're getting a fellow New Yorker and local to come back home and hopefully put that franchise back on the map. So at 6'9", 220 pounds, Toppin's ability to move and his athleticism immediately jump out at you. He's a big mobile guy. He can also shoot the ball very well as well. And he displayed all of these skills and athleticism in just one game on Friday. And it's something that Knicks fans really should be really excited about. Now, I understand his overall stat line was only 11 points, 7 rebounds, a block, and an assist in about 20 minutes of game time. But again, he showed the flashes and produced, and that's all you can really ask for, especially in preseason games. So now we're going to dig into what he showed in his game and even more. So he brought the confidence and the swagger, obviously, to that game. And as mentioned, he's older, like he's 22 years old. So he's used to his game, his body. A lot of times in rookies now, they're 19 or 20. So I think Obi being 22, he had success in college. He got better at Dayton. And again, that's really going to help him because he's comfortable and confident in his skin. He took his time to get to spots on the floor, whether it was on the block, getting to the rim, spotting up to take a few jumpers. So again, he knows he can score the ball, and he has the ability to get his own shots when he needs to. And the Knicks have a few guys like that right now, but they need more, and you can never have too many of those guys. So just having another player who's comfortable, confident, able to make plays is a great thing. Now, Obi's greatest strength right now is his ability to finish plays around the rim. He's a guy who can get up and down the floor, put on a dunk show. Any dunk you can think of, he can definitely do. And he flashed that ability last night. On one particular play, he put the ball on the floor in transition, gave it up, but then filled baseline and got it right back from Kevin Knox. And once the ball literally touched his hands from that point, he knew what to do. He immediately rose up, slammed it down flush. And those are the type of plays he's going to easily make, and the Knicks fans will enjoy. He brings excitement, and I'm really encouraged by him being able to get the ball off the glass and push it up the floor. It's going to allow him to get out in transition, help the whole team get easy lobs, easy baskets, and it should give Obi a ton of easy dunk opportunities. He's definitely a high flyer, and the Garden will need a show, so he'll be able to provide that every night. One other thing I was really impressed with was, again, just him being able to get the ball off the glass and push it. He's fast. He's fast, he moves really well, and that's going to, again, allow him to be in better positions. And by running the floor, it'll just help him and his teammates. The Knicks have not always been good offensively in the half court, and they've struggled at times looking a little stagnant. So being able to get out and run and get in transition and letting these young guys loose will definitely be a key for them, and Obi should lead the way. He sort of flashes a little bit of Blake Griffin in his game, honestly, and I think, again, Blake had that ability to take the ball off the rim on defense, get up the court, and then finish, obviously. So I think even at times in the half court, Obi showed that he got into the post, he took his time, he didn't rush, he didn't panic, spin out of bounds baseline, he really gathered, went up strong, and finished the play. He drove once to the right. The next time he drove left to the baseline. And again, bodied up and just finished off the glass. So these are extremely encouraging because these are things that he should be able to do. They're not extraordinary. And he knows his game, his strengths, and he's used to making athletic plays. So I think he'll be just fine in the NBA. Obi made some really awesome passes as well. And I think that's one thing that him being able to recognize, make plays, he made a pass that led right to a layup and score. That passing ability might be underrated. And with the team kind of struggling in the half court, being able to have another guy who can just make a play and make a pass is huge, especially for this team. So I think when you're looking at who is currently on this roster, obviously Kevin Knox isn't a great shooter just yet. You got Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, who's getting better from the three. Nerlens Noel, RJ obviously is getting a lot better. Like, they have more like athletes and guys who are developing. From the guard spot, they're better shooting wise, but I think Obi as a full total package brings a lot more that the front court players currently do not. And I think he showed that in their game Friday. Obviously, he showed the confidence. He showed the swagger. He showed the courage to take shots, to make passes, to create plays. And the more guys you have that can do that, the better. Now, in college, he shot about 40% from the three-point line. Obviously, he'll need to adjust to the NBA three line. But what that tells me is that he can make the mid-range in the NBA from day one, right? So he should be able to get into pick and rolls, obviously roll hard for lobs. He can also roll out of that screen into a pick and pop situation and make the mid-range jumper. So he brings a lot of things that Blake, Amare Stoudemire also had. And I think, again, if Obi can kind of model his game over their progression and what they did in their sets, that'll just make this Knicks team a lot better. And his development will also hinder on, Tibbs, the rest of this roster, putting him in the best position to succeed and develop. The more Obi plays with the better players on the Knicks roster, the better it will be for him and his development, and in turn, the Knicks organization. So a few things he can work on. Obviously, it was game one. He is a rookie. I think he was a little loose with the ball at times, especially when putting it on the floor. As he starts to play the better guys, especially off the weak side, savvy guards may double down and be able to pick his pocket. So that's one area where he'll definitely need to improve. He'll get used to the speed of the game as well and just flow, so that'll help. And again, at 6'9", him being able to dribble it a little bit and him having the courage to do so is huge. That's really the majority of the battle right now. And the wild card in his game is definitely going to be Tibbs. Obviously Leon Rose and his leadership team thought Obi was the guy. So as long as they communicated, they're on the same page, great. They're going to need to make sure he's on the floor and getting better. Like, Tibbs didn't play a ton of guys when he was in Chicago. I understand that was a different team. That Bulls team was contending. These Knicks are rebuilding, a lot younger. But still, Tibbs will have to, trust Obi. Let him grow. Maybe look past some of the defensive things and let this guy develop. Because, again, it's really going to help Obi and the organization much more as opposed to him being too strict. And at times, going back to Tibbs, his offenses have been, a little slow, a little stagnant. So they're going to have to incorporate some tempo, get out in transition. And I think Obi is the perfect player to do that. Ideally, you surround Obi, RJ, and Mitchell Rob with two great shooters. They don't have that right now. So they're going to have to really get out and transition. And Obi brings a lot of things that the other bigs on this team just don't have. And I think it's more so because of his combination of being able to run, be athletic, dunk on you. He can shoot it. He can handle the ball. Like, Mitchell and Nerlens obviously are huge centers. They can block shots. They're really athletic. But they don't have the other two skills. They don't have the handle. Mitchell Robinson's get better shooting the three, but Obi probably shoots it a little better, and he's a good mid-range shooter. I just don't see that pick and pop ability in them yet that you have in Obi. And that's okay, because Obi's a 6'9" 4. Those guys are centers. So I think that may also be part of the reason they went out and got him, because he complements this team really, really well. And again, he fits nicely and compares to what those other guys bring right now. Obi will be able to spread the floor. He'll shoot it some. He obviously can finish at the rim and throw it down. He can put it on the floor, which he displayed. And then he's able to pass out of moves to lead to scoring opportunities. So he's mature. He's 22. He'll get stronger, obviously, as he grows into his physical peak. And I think he's a guy who is a big, who can play smaller, as opposed to a smaller guy that you're trying to make into a tweener 4. Now, Obi, again, will have to improve a few things, and we'll briefly cover that. But I really, really like his game and his ceiling. And I think him being able to handle the ball more as much as possible, him being able to shoot the ball more as much as possible. Like, you've got to be able to dribble and shoot in the game today. And him just being able to knock down jumpers consistently will take him and this team to the absolute next level. Thirdly, the main thing is his defense. It was a big question mark coming into the draft. Obviously, when you have a coach like Tibbs, you're going to talk a lot about defense. And that defensive ability may be the only thing that really keeps him off the floor. So I think him focusing in on that, obviously shooting as much as he can, handling the ball as much as possible, and working on his defense is really going to help him. But he's shown the flashes. Like, he's got it. He's able. Knicks fans, don't expect him to maybe light it up every single night, but you're getting a very good player who can contribute, and you should be pumped about that. In the draft process, Obi mentioned, he watched a ton of Anthony Davis, Amari Stoudemire, and others to model his game after. I think if he can tune into Blake Griffin, Amari Stoudemire, and even some Lamar Odom, like, I see those guys in Obi in some flashes. I think the first two obviously were super athletic, and then they added jumpers into their game. Lamar Odom's way underrated and had all the skills of anyone who ever played with a devastating handle. So I think if Obi can really work on that handle, get it up to where he can do anything confidently, and then add that jumper in, boy, will the Knicks have something that's really special. So thank you for checking out today's video. If you haven't already, go subscribe, and we'll see you back soon.